Hi, I'm Broderick from the Player.ie here, welcoming you to our new video series. Today we're going to be taking a look at Black Mesa Uplink, which is built in the same spirit as Black Mesa, the mod which brings Half-Life into the Source engine. Now, this was chosen because not many people are really familiar with Half-Life Uplink. It was released as a demo in 1999, about 6 months after the full game came out, and it's set in a piece of cut content. And as you can see, it's very pretty in the Source engine, but it was created on a very short timeline. As you'll notice, these two guys still have their original voices.
Open up the reactor complex so we can get down to safety.
I'm sorry, but those doors will not open until we send the all clear.
So send it already.
You can see definitely that 1998 quality, not the re-recording that was done.
My transmitter. The cables are separate. We'd have to aim it by hand, and I'm getting high radiation levels in the transmitter dome. Nobody but a fool would go in there.
What about this guy?
Yes, you put
Of course.
your life in that suit of yours. Very well. I will lower security on the satellite access elevator.
The thing that always got me about the suit is he's not wearing the helmet, at least in any of the promotional art. So he just probably die in any kind of anything. Well, our objective in hand this time to jump into what is basically a 20-minute whistle-stop tour of the weapons and enemies that you encounter in the earlier parts of Half-Life. Obviously, I would suspect that if this piece of content had been in the game, it would have been set later on. It's apparently set between Lambda Core and Zen, so the enemies might be a bit trickier in the full version. Some things never change soon. We're in an elevator. And there we go. A nice little touch here. That drawing is by Wallace, and it's of how he wants to take over the world someday. And his idea to do that is meet some aliens and live in a giant tower. Sounds familiar. I run out of this room because in my test run this vending machine did kill me. Volatile. And we just run into our first enemy, of course.
Watch your head, Doc. Hey, I got one.
See one of the new security guard models, but still with the old voices. And the handgun. Now, in the original Uplink, this was a really cool part, because that body line on the ground was lying face down. And once you exploded it, there was a custom model to have handprints in the blood. I was really impressed by that at the time when I played it, but it hasn't been recreated here. Now you can hear the next room, there's some Marines coming up. These guys unfortunately do have the voice work from Black Mesa, which I'm not a fan of. It's always struck me as someone who watches a lot of anime putting on their best tough guy voice. I do love the new weapon sound though, and we'll be hearing an intelligent fight. We'll be hearing the new SMG sound, which I really like. And this is how our first puzzle of the game plays out. That Marine closes the door. We're now stuck in here and have to find our way out. And unfortunately, again, since this was made on a tighter time schedule than Black Mesa, Uplink hasn't made the same changes to the jumping puzzles and combat that you can find in the original. So the stronger weapons haven't been balanced out with you fighting more enemies like in Black Mesa, and the limited nature of the jump in the Source engine, the puzzles haven't been changed to suit it. So this little piece coming up took me about 5 times in one of my recording or pre-recording runs, and I luckily enough get it first time here, so I didn't have to do too much overzealous editing, so you won't be bored. As I said, the level is suspected to have taken place between surface tension and lambda core. I came across it on a demo disc from PC Gamer. I was running some awful HP machine at the time and proceeded to run it at sub 10 FPS. Fell in love even with that because I didn't have a graphics accelerator. Went out and bought a Half-Life anthology, and then eventually ended up buying a Voodoo 2 card because I just didn't know that software mode was a thing that exists because I was a stupid kid. You can see that submachine gun really is powerful. It sounds the part too. Some shipping crates prevalent in the world of Half-Life. This level seems to be set around the kind of shipping and receiving part of Black Mesa, which doesn't make a huge amount of sense. Like, if this is between surface tension and lambda core, all the sensitive stuff in those areas. You can see it's kind of dark as well. That's a problem in the actual game, unfortunately. But as you can see, the demo, like, it's a really good idea, I thought at the time, for them to release a piece of content that wasn't in the main game to show off, like, their single player experience. Of course, now this would probably be DLC and like be called extended or something like that, which is fine too. But it was a nice idea, and I can't really think of anyone else who did custom content for demos. But I'm sure there are examples. If you do know of some, let me know. Massacre is ongoing. As, like, if you didn't hear the scientists at the start, our objective is to make it to a satellite to get word out that Black Mesa, something terrible has happened here, and that the military are currently initiating a cleanup. It's something you kind of achieve by using the rocket earlier on in the main Half-Life game.
Wait a minute, and I'll let you in.
And that's not really clear, but that's the scientist who you met at the very start of the demo. It's me trying to take my rage out in a security camera. And now we're actually at the satellite room, and this room in the original demo had way more of that radioactive goo in it. So basically the entire time you were in here, you could hear your Geiger counter going off. It was annoying. Kind of a side anecdote on a personal level, my brother was afraid of things with tentacles. Had read somewhere a preview of Half-Life and thought that the Geiger counter noise was the tentacle monster, so stopped playing here. I believe he never actually played past that part in Half-Life. Probably wouldn't have liked the Gonarch much either.
Freeman, you'll want to work quickly.
Yeah, you can see we can contact the
US
CIA,
NRC.
NORAD,
I
a few
repeat,
different varieties of
tune
NORAD,
to the
and
US
CNN,
NRC.
which I don't know why Black Mesa would want to contact the CIA or CNN, but I guess they do. Just get Wallace Breen out there, and you do your usual Half-Life back and forth sliding puzzle thing that kind of doesn't work for some reason.
Excellent. I'm sending the all clear, and the doors should open now. We'll meet you down below.
And now things get crazy. Not very crazy, unfortunately. He hasn't balanced this sequence to work with the new weaponry. So you just get these Marines roping in two at a time, and there's two guys coming down through a door on the ground level, but the music, like if you compare this to the fight at the end of Surface Tension in the Black Mesa source mod, like this is a little limp. But again, he made it on a very short time scale and for charity, so even that, and I believe there's also several other versions of Uplink in the works by people working with Black Mesa source stuff. So maybe someone will give it a more complete feel. Maybe even build it out a little bit. As you can see, there are 2 Marines, where it probably should have been a lot more than that. This sequence in 1999 was very cool. You had the guys coming in from above and below, and of course steam for some reason. Time to leave. Just put down your ladder, and like it really does cover the Half-Life experience. Sewers and satellites. This is good. What? Physics. Conspicuously no bullet squids down here, which definitely feature in the early parts of Half-Life. Just zombies and barnacles. Another unfortunate scientist caught down here. Yeah, that caught me every time. I waste some shotgun ammo. Dirty up my gun. We're nearly done with this section. And you see a 1998 style scripting, which would have been impressive back then, but looks a little silly now. And I'm for some reason running around without my light on. Oh, there we go. Now we're kind of coming towards the end stage of the demo. We're going to have to go through an area we've already gone through, and we meet some enemies we haven't seen before this. Ladders. Gordon Freeman's worst nemesis. That was a big problem with Black Mesa, was the changes made to the jump. It just did not feel good. Here we have some Vortigons. They're near kind of ubiquity in the early parts of the single player. They were kind of the main enemy before the Marines, but here you have them mixing up a lot earlier than they do in the actual game. It is until the section is just before Lambda Core where you see aliens and Marines mixing all that. And again, the changes to the weapons just made the Vortigons kind of a joke in Black Mesa. But still, getting caught from one of their hits will do some serious damage. Yeah, see, there, that took off a fair amount of my HEV suit. Nice little physics moment. Definitely a good idea, I think, that they got the voice actor. If they didn't get the voice actor, they got sound clips of the voice that was used from Half-Life 2 on for the Vortigons, but speaking in their weird language, rather than the kind of screamy, high-pitched stuff from the original game. And here we're kind of traversing just areas we've been in on our way back. You see our scientist friend take a hit, but he's still okay. Able to hold his own. Something they definitely changed from the first game, where they were simpletons who died a lot. This actually came out before Christmas, but we're doing it because this is the first part of a new video series, and I wanted to play a game I was familiar with as I was learning the technology surrounding all of this. And I decided to do Doom, but then decided that would be boring, and tried to do it with the mod Brutal Doom, which wouldn't play nice with my new TV setup for some reason. So then I found out about this, and kind of knew that only people who were really into Half-Life seemed to really know about Uplink. And so I thought it fit the bill perfectly, and here we are. And I must admit, playing through it kind of made me feel less good about Uplink. My nostalgia had made me, yeah, cheers, 5 HEV. My nostalgia for this piece of content was that it was very long and very varied. I remember playing, well, I suppose considering I was playing it at a terrible, horrible frame rate, it was probably long. But yeah, it's what started my love affair with the Half-Life series. It's probably my favourite series. It's just the gunplay in both games is great, but I think Half-Life 2 got it really well, and to bring that gunplay into the set of Black Mesa was fantastic. It's a pity it took so long and so much drama, but hopefully now that this technology is something that people can just dip into, something like an opposing force source mod can't be too far behind. Like the guy, I saw the original forum post where he was announcing doing this. It was from September. This released mid-December. Hound Eye made a lot more threatening. Sneaky. Lots of weird bits of Half-Life. Most people consider this canon, which is problematic for a reason you're going to see at the very end, which obviously would have been resolved in the main game if the content had stayed in. But, this is a great little set piece, and it's changed a fair bit from its Gold Source version, unfortunately.
What does that sound?
Don't.
These guys are clearly worried. You hear with that shaking and the roaring up here, a hole broke in the wall, and I kind of look around for it here, hoping that maybe I missed it the first time or it didn't trigger. But you're able to see the Gargantua just for a split second as it walks past the hole. Then you jump up into this vent. Yup, this is Half-Life, so it takes a little bit. And no, finally. Like this is like, yeah, I look again thinking that that might have been it, and I didn't misremember because I did play through Uplink, which is still hosted by Valve on their website. Played through it just to make sure it wasn't going crazy, and no, this set piece is a lot better in the Gold Source version of this.
I think we're about to have company.
See, and actually in that version you end up on that platform, rather than the place you end up here. And you can see there's the problem. And if you, just perspective of the Gargantua just ran in, you were on that platform, and the demo fades out just as the Gargantua reaches you, and it comes up what you see at the end of this. And instead this happens, which is like they're both impossible situations to get out of, which is why people regard them as being problematic towards the Half-Life story. Is like, how did you get out of this? But then how did you get out of anything? Well, that's it. That's Black Mesa Uplink. There you go, you get your little evaluation complete. There's a nice little nod to the demo and the fiction. That's it. I'm Evan Broderick with theplayer.e, and thanks for watching. You get to see a little bit of the credits because this is a mod. That means metal music.